Hello and welcome back to Alex Goes Sailing. This episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more raw sailing because I'm getting to grips learning the boat. I'm not filming so much. Sam's doing a lot more filming and we've got a lot of 360 shots, so we're going to get a lot of raw sailing. We're going to get a few tacks in there as well, and some of them didn't go to plan, so keep an eye out on those. But for the minute we're leaving Newton's Creek. We're going to sail over to Poole Harbour and the wind's going to be mostly on our nose and we're going to get out through the Needles, so let's get cracking. Now to get through the Needles or Roundhurst Castle, it's quite a fast tidal flow, so we decided to drop the head sail because we're going into the wind, keep the main up for stability, and then we're going to go out through the short channel because since we're heading over to Poole Harbour we can kind of do that, and the tide was good enough to do that as well because it can get quite rough through there. But today was probably one of the nicer days to do it. Now, after getting out of the main channel, it was time to sail on to Poole, which was into the wind, so a little bit of tacking was required. First time really tacking this boat, so we were learning on the way, and a few mishaps happened. But we have the jib out on the front with the sheet lines free to move for tacking. The genoa, it kind of has to pass over the jib, so tacking you have to furl it in and furl it back out. So when we're going upwind, typically use the jib. Main's up as well. A fairly windy day, so we're actually hooning along, getting a good lean on too, which is unusual for me because I'm used to Mingale not heeling over as much, and quite the difference really. It's also quite interesting getting the crew to grips with tacking the boat. We tried backing the jib a little bit at times if we didn't have enough momentum. That worked quite well. Also other times swinging it right through, and we ended up doing quite a few tacks. On one of the tacks, the sheet line got tangled around, I think, the oar on the dinghy on the front, on the bow, because we left those on. So Daniel had to zoom up to the front after he spotted it and untangled it so we could sheet it all in.
Get it back. While it's still fixed to that side, the jig will pull. So just wait.
I'm going to be installing the Atmos from Scanstrut. This thing, 2-stage air pump to pump up your dinghies and inflatables. Rapid. We tried it before on my last boat, Mingley, and we only had it out of the box doing testing with it, seeing how fast it can pump up dinghies. But I knew I was going to get this boat, and it's time to install it. Now you get given these templates to install it with. Fairly standard, drill your holes in the corners and you get the right size. Trim it out nice. It shows you what it includes. The unit, the covers to cover the screw holes and all the screws, and then what you need. So fairly straightforward bits, nothing too special. You should have all of those, and then relatively straightforward connections, how to wire it up properly. Be sure to put some pretty thick gauge of wire on this, depending how long your run is, because it will draw a little bit of power. When I say a little bit, a decent chunk. So get some good gauge. But apart from that, straightforward. Run the wires nicely. Now on this boat, I do have this back section. There's not anywhere really suitable to fit it. Also, it'll affect the structure and the big hole in the back of the boat. So what I've done, actually, is in this locker, I'm going to mount it just on this back corner here, because it should fit in quite smartly underneath there. So to do that, I've made these templates, and these templates should just fit together. There's like a little back wall where the step is on the other side. That'll go like this. You've got the template here. That will glue on somewhere there. Glues to the top, glues to this back edge, and it's perfect. So it gets cut out of the wood, which I think my brother's going to do. Now, after my brother cut that all out, I then glassed it all together with some thickened epoxy and a bit of fiberglass tape, and you can see it now installed in here. I will go back over and give it another sand, but we just gave it a lick of paint for now. So I will be sanding the whole of this locker and giving it another lick of paint. This is just to seal up the wood and whatnot, but you can see where I've got my fiberglass tape on there, I've got some on there, a little bit up here as well. So it's a nice solid box, and we'll run power out of it. It should drain if any water gets in there, down and out that side. The wire run is right here. I'm going to see if there's a spare wire that I can pinch, if it's the correct gauge, but that's where the Atmos should fit right in. I'm just going to go screw it in now, and then I can figure out the wiring situation. Then we can use it to pump up a dinghy like that in no time at all. Right, so I have the Atmos unit here. So it's very waterproof from the looks of it. Nice glands. It tells you some nice electrical information on the back. Rated current max 12 amp. So you'll want a decent gauge of wire. And just out of curiosity, they've used 1.5mm square like that. But also you've got to make sure you run it for the length because you don't want voltage drop. Voltage drop will absolutely ruin this. So, right, this should just pop in the hole like that. And then I've got some screws and bits and bobs over here. These are the cover plates. We don't need those. What we need is these screws, stainless steel, and screwdriver. I'm just going to screw that in place. Alright, that's all screwed in now. I've been putting this cover bit on. There's a trick to it. You can't just place it on because it won't really stay. It's still loose. The trick is to get it to latch on underneath and tilt it up. Now, it's a bit more tricky than I'm led to believe, but you can see the little clips on there, so you get that bottom one on and you can twist it round. I think I need 2 hands for this really. Right, 2 hands did it, just had to put it up. But that is now a pretty neat installation. And then we've got the screen protector here, a little bit of foam in there, but that's pretty good. All I've got to do is run that power cable somewhere, and then once I've done that, I'll show how it works with the dinghy, and should be good. But this should be a pretty nice location. Doesn't mean I have to cut a hole in my boat, and it's pretty close. The hose reaches because it comes with quite a long hose, inflate and deflate, and perfect. So I'm gonna sort out the wiring for this, and I'll see you again in a bit. Now that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed the raw sailing and me learning how to sail this thing, getting the tacks in and figuring out the boat as well. It's quite the learning curve really. But for this shakedown sail, it's going quite well so far, and look forward to the upcoming adventure. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.